So our current research is to look to the potential influence of potential human influence on the spin of light object, and we are focused on looking to the aerodynamic thermic forces, leaving the other force as eliminated, as we present in precedent work. So what I will present today is quickly make a sum up of what we present in Convention 217 and the methods and the result we obtain. And I will present a new result with new equipment, easy to set up, and with high signal to noise ratio. And I will propose at the end maybe some proposal about PK research. Okay. Trying by telekinesis, but it didn't work. I'm maybe too stressed. So, precedent experiment, we use a target, which is a plastic cup, as you can show you quickly. So a plastic cup of 2.4 grams, so which is a bit heavier than this one, which are some tenths of gram. We saw very many things about pinwheel. If you look to the internet sometimes, and so many, it's very often the tenths of gram. In the precedent studies, we present that. Yeah, is it working? Okay. The space bar. Okay. So in our present experiment, we show that the mechanical, magnetic, electrostatics, and radiation pressure forces was not relevant in the kind of scenario we are looking for. And so the only force which was left as candidate for the potential motion of the target was the aerodynamic thermics current. So we use PIV techniques in order to measure. Our focus is to measure the airflow speed around the target. So we use PIV technique, which stands for particle image velocimetry. We, in fact, we look at. It's not in my. Okay. So we look at smoke particles, which are driven by the air and which are eliminated by a laser. And we use image processing to calculate the speed of the smoke particle. So how do we work with that? We use a semi-confined environment, like here, which is look at a telephone booth with a curtain, which is here. You can find here the table inside the cabin. We put the target. We put some smoke in it with a smoke generator. And the practitioner, the telekinesis subject, sits here, put his hand here, and try to move the target without touching it and keeping his hand still. So we eliminate here the smokes. So we reveal a thin horizontal slice of air, which is crossing the dome, plastic dome. And here there is a camera setup vertically that can see from above what's happening at 50 images per second. So you see the flow of the air, the target, and the hand. Okay. So from this, so we take the video of 50 images per second. We make an image processing to identify the smoke particles on each image. And we calculate between two images the difference of position of the particle, and so the speed, knowing that there is 20 milliseconds between two images. Okay? And then we represent on the screen the vector. So here, sorry, let me come back. So here you have the smoke moving around the target, and you can see here the representing vector of the speed of the flow around the target. So higher is the vector, bigger is the vector, bigger is the amplitude, and you have the direction of the flow. So in our precedent experiment, we in fact conduct 10 experiments in 3 set categories. The first one was a experiment where we generate the air with a pump. The second one was electric motor, which is generating the motion of the target. And the third one was the target is driven by the techist, by a picker, what we call telekinesis practitioner. And so the way we compare the experience is to make the ratio between the dome speed and the peripheric airflow speed around the dome. So what was the result? The result we presented. So here you have the ratio from 0 to 9. And what we find is that for the airflow experiment, all the ratios are below 1, less than 0.5, which is something logic because the target is running faster than slower than the airflow that drives it. Here we have the motor experiment. So in this case, we are from above 3. So it's logical also because the motor is driving the air around. So somewhere these two categories are validating the measurement process. And then if we look to the T experiment with PKRs, we have a ratio above 1, moving from 2 to 7.8. And so it means in this last case that the target was running 8 times faster than the airflow around. Sorry. So which concludes that the airflow running around, so the aerodynamic thermic forces was not the main explanation of the motion of the target. So for the new experiment, we first evaluate a minimal airflow speed in order to start the target. So it's different here. And we do that for the reference experiment, also for a PKR experiment. We improve the signal-to-noise ratio. And we try to use a new transportable bench, which is able to be used directly by the telekinesis subject in his home environment. And so in that point, we can multiply the experiment. And also, we have a good mood factor, as we say. Coming back to the paper of Karl at Carpenter that Annalisa present this morning, which shows that with a good mood factor, you have better result. So for this experiment, we take a heavier target. So it's like this one, but you make three like that pile up. Sorry. And we use a standard stem from a carousel candle. And then, so David has developed a new bench with transportable characteristics. Some people have tried it yesterday evening at the workshop. And so how it works, there is, here is a plexiglass box with a lid, with a rectangular opening. We use 2 instant sticks to generate the smoke, so it's smoother than the machinery. Here is a laser device, small laser device with a specific lens which be able to generate an air slice, horizontal or vertical. And here is a camera taking the image above. So how it works, the practitioner put his hand around the opening, as you can see on this photo from the camera. So you see the hand and the rectangular opening. So it's a bit more difficult than the precedent experiment because the hand is above the target, okay, and above the plexiglass, as you can see here. You have the hand and you have the target. And so also it's good because we eliminate some explanation, like the one proposed by Barcollier, which was because the hand was making some disequilibrium of an airflow moving horizontally on the table and driven up by the heat of the body. The second explanation was the one of NKF, which was to say that there is an horizontal, there is a difference of temperature between the palm and the fingertip. So it makes a disequilibrium of an air current ascending around the hand. And the third one was the Albert Hoffman explanation that in the hand you have a pulse, the blood pulse, and this blood pulse on the hand and on the wrist could make some vibration and set the target in motion. But these 3 explanations can't apply here because we are not at the same level than the target, we are above. So these 3 explanations can't apply in this case, even if they can apply on other movement. So the method, we make some reference experiment with the standard bench, static bench. So we're using pump generating air. We work on the PKR experiment. We use the transportable bench. And so we focus on the 10 first seconds of the motion in either case. Sorry. So how we compare the experiment, we use two parameters. The first one is the air velocity magnitude. In fact, we look to the speed, but without the direction. And we focus on a specific area around the target, where the air is really driving the target. And the second parameters, we make some concentric cycle around the dome, and we measure the speed of the air, in the tangential speed on this circle, on this area. And so we look how this tangential speed is moving, is evolving from the surface of the dome out to outside. And we compare between the experiment. So here are the comparison. So the two upper images are the reference experiment using air generated by pump. And the two blue experiments are the one with a PKR. So if we look directly to the size of the vectors, which are the same scale for the four images, you see clearly that the vector on the airflow experiment are really bigger than the one in the PKR experiment. And if we look to our first parameter, which is magnitude, we have 30 millimeters per second here, we have 23 here, and on the PKR experiment, we are 2.4 and 2.7. So it's a ratio of 9 between the lower here and the mean of this one. And if we look to a more precise measurement using the tangential speed, here you have a graphic where there is the speed from 0 to 60 millimeters per second. Here you have the distance of the surface from 0 to 25 millimeters. This is the curve for the two reference experiments, and this is the curve for the PKR experiment. So there is a ratio of 10, around 10 between this and this one, and 15 between this and this one. So, but you could say, what about vertical speed? Because we are in a horizontal speed. So we have a semi-confined box with two burning sticks at the basis. So you could say that there is an airstream moving up, reinforced by the fact that there is a heat end of the PKR. And so this ascendant current with a disequilibrium could initiate a spin of the target. So we looked through that, and we use a vertical slicing of the experiment with the laser. And so we are able to measure the speed of the flow in a vertical plane. So here we have 2.7 and 3.2 millimeters per second, which are in the same range that what we see in a horizontal plane, which was 2.4 and 2.7. So the vertical speed can't explain either the movement of the target. And finally, we conduct an artifact experiment. So we wanted to simulate the hand and the upper body of the PKR leaning on the bench. So we use glasses, fill of water, and a glass jar. So here you have the glasses. Sorry. Here you have the glasses. So simulate the hand, and here it's the wrist. And here you have the big jar, simulated the body leaning on the bench. And we make some different experiments with different temperature. From normal temperature, we would say 37 degrees outside to 90 degrees. And we did not observe any movement of the target as soon as PKR was not in the room. So also we can say that with this approach, so airflow visualization, we avoid many trickery potential, because if you make some airflow, for example, air mouths blowing or hands move, you can directly see on the video and also on the vectors of the speed which are calculated. So it's difficult also with this semi-confined box to induce mechanically a spin of the target inside. it's plastic, it's not magnetics. We show also in previous presentations that static electricity could not apply here because you can make some movement with static electricity. With a hand steel, it's only half turn in the side and half turn in the others. Or you can move if you run around with your hand, but in this time you can detect that immediately. And we are looking only to movements that at least are several turns. And for this experiment, it is about 4 minutes, 4 minutes spinning, continuous spinning of the target. So finally, the conclusion. So we confirm the precedent results with a 10 signal-to-noise ratio. So that the aerodynamic forces and thermically induced forces are not the main explanation for the motion of the target. We show that even if application of Varcolli explanation can apply elsewhere, it can apply on this specific presentation. And so we move forward to make some experiment around the confinement factors and the distance factors. And what we want to see is to see with others if we can elaborate a new space in PK research. Because our proposal is that today we are speaking about micro PK, which is a very defined space when we work about RNG and statistics, as we saw today. We talk about macro PK, and in this area we are more about looking to books, reports, some on very big events like Dines, Douglas Home, Indrisson, Rudi Schneider, and so forth, or more recently with Uri Geller, Jean-Pierre Girard, and also with poltergeist, SPK. For all this area, there is some scientific studies that as the one done by William Crookes on Home, the one done by IME, Dr. Osti and Rudi Schneider. And we work also, you see also the work done by SRI on Ingo Swan and Uri Geller. And on poltergeist, we saw today that there is many people working, as Walter can make a big report on that. But in fact, on this area, we are looking principally on exceptional events or very gifted people, which are also exceptional. So what our proposition is to focus on small, semi-repeatable physical effects, as we have in our experiment. So we are in a range of 1 to 100 micronewton, so we are not at 800 newton of levitation. But with this, for example, the experiment I show you, it was around 4 micronewton physics. So 1 to 100 micronewton, we have many things to do. The advantage is that we can make many experiments, repeat experiments, make hypotheses, and so really conduct scientific research. And I think that maybe we are very interesting to have some other coming up and helping us to go through this field. And so we bring on the table some measurement process like this. But we are very open to work with other people, and we have also already contacted with some wine research centers. We know that they work on this, and we will be very happy to continue to make these partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you very much.